What's going on, guys? Actually, I was trying to get this done earlier tonight, but man, the heat was unbearable. No lie. Yeah, I took a nap earlier, and then I kind of relaxed in the air conditioning and everything. But again, this is better late than never. So we're gonna build the watch list for tomorrow, which will be June 5th, or actually later on today, June 5th. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at the SPY and the QQQ. I always look at these indexes when I'm building my watch list because, again, it kind of gives me an idea on what type of bias I may want to have for the following day. So as we see here on the SPY, this was pretty much just a sideways day. I mean, it didn't do a whole lot. If we scroll in here, we can see that it kind of opened up weak, pressed up, came back down, then it just kind of went around sideways all day. I mean, it was only down a buck, right? So not that big of a deal, and I'm almost certain the QQQs looks the exact same way. Um, Down almost $2, but for the most part, we've been kind of just going up, right? You can see where if we look here on the QQQ, back when we bottomed out back here in the middle of March, we've just been kind of roaring back, right? At some point, we're going to need to take a little bit of a break and consolidate a little bit. As you can see here, the QQQ pushes up, then it kind of pulls back before it goes for its next move, presses up. But really, we're only getting like maybe 2-day pullback, right? So if we look at the SPY again, it's going to be almost very similar, right? Where I mean, we're getting some really, really large chunks, right? And at most, we're getting a 2-day pullback, but then it just rips right back, right? Then you get a pullback, and then it rips right back. So right now, I kind of expect tomorrow to be maybe a continuation of today. I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of movement. I think, preferably what I would like to see is I would like to see the SPY gap down. I would like to see it pull back along with the QQQs. And the reason why, when the market gaps up, it takes a lot of the range out of the market, right? So when things are going up, they don't go up as fast. You see what I'm saying? So for those of you that's gotten into a trade, so let's say you've taken a trade and you get into it, right? And maybe it moves a buck, but it takes a period of time for it to move that dollar. However, let's say that you're up in a stock and all of a sudden the stock starts falling. Have you ever noticed how much quicker a stock will go down? It will seem like it would take forever for a stock to get up, right? To go up to a certain level. But it seems like it takes half the time, even less sometimes, for it to go back down to where it started. So that again, what happens is when our indexes gap up in the morning, it takes a lot of the range for our plays for the day. It takes a lot of the range out of the market, right? And typically, if it opens up real strong, typically, we have our plays that we like to play as far as the opening, right? We can't chase things on strength most days, just because of the fact that one, when you chase, you really take the control away from yourself and your trades. So typically, what I like it when the market gaps down. When the market gaps down, it gives me more of a range because I know where the stock has been. I know where the stock can go. I know what its potential is. When it gaps up, you have no idea what the range is going to be. And in the instance of the SPY today, right? I mean, again, it wasn't a huge gap up, right? And actually, I don't even think it was. It was probably just more like a sideways, right? Like I don't even. I mean, overnight. So this is looking at the previous 24 hours. So this is the pre-market this morning before the open of the market. So you see it went it gapped down. But yeah, I mean, again, I like a considerable gap down because it would give me more range. As you can see right here, when it closed on at 4 o'clock on Wednesday, right? It was around let's see, it's like around 312 something, right? And the lowest it got in the pre-market was 310. So you only got a $2 gap down, and then it even came back up. Let's see, this was at 8 a.m. This was 8 a.m. Thursday morning. So I mean, it was kind of at where it closed the day before, so it just wasn't a lot of range. And you can see, and this is what happened throughout the day. There was no real range that you could have really. I mean, yeah, you could have got a buck or two, but a buck or two and a 300 and something dollar stock, so to speak. And again, a lot of people don't play the SPY. Some do. I don't. I feel like there's hotter plays out there with greater range. Again, for those of you that watched my market recap earlier, there were some awesome plays for my watch list tonight. But we'll go through my watch list. We'll go through the stocks that are on my watch list a little bit later when we go and see what plays are still viable for a day 2 or 3 continuation. And the ones that are not, we'll remove those as well. But like I said, the first thing I like to do is I like to go through and I like to see what were the liquid gainers of the day, right? These are stocks that were up 3% or more throughout the day. And again, we can see right here, this kind of tells us, see, and again, like I told you all in the previous market recap and the chart, damn, watch list building video, that I can usually tell about how the day is going to go based off of the amount of liquid gainers and as well as top losers. And like I said, when one side is bigger than the other, that's typically the side I'm going to take a bias on, right? So if my liquid gainers, if I have a lot of stocks that are up 3% or more, I'm going to tend to take a long bias on a lot of my trades, just for the fact that usually, and if the market's ramping up, it's just a safer bet, right? Remember, we're trend traders. We trade with the trend. We don't want to counter trend trade. Counter trend trading is the equivalent to trying to catch a falling knife. Yeah, you might catch something, but you're going to get cut to shit, right? It's not worth it. And then of course, like I said, if my top losers list is bigger, right? If it's bigger in the morning, I can typically tell about how the day is going to go, whether I should have a short bias. And as you can see right down here, we have 229 stocks on our liquid gainers, and we have 224 on our top losers. So that's about even, right? And like I said, if you go back and look at the SPY again real quick, it just went sideways, right? And it's kind of even, right? There's really no movement. There wasn't a lot of movement as far as it was kind of almost like an inside day, right? Like it just didn't do nothing. But if we look at our top gainers list, there are some good gainer plays that could be potentials for tomorrow. So what I tend to do is I tend to look at the top gainers, and when I'll look at my daily chart, and I want to make sure, one, if a stock looks like it's a potential for, I mean, man, this American Airlines up $5 today, right? Damn. And I said last night, I'm like, I'm not ready to play airlines yet, right? Because people aren't filling the planes. I might have to rethink that here in the near future. But again, if you look at, what I like to do when I look at my top gainers list, I want to see what setups are still valid and how much more room or how much more range do I have before I start meeting some level of resistance. So with this American Airlines, this is not I don't really know that I would take this trade. For one, the price is completely outside of this Bollinger Band, and we're really extended off this, right? So we're almost four and a half, almost $5 off the 9 EMA. For a swing trade, there's no way I would touch that, even though we still have room up until the 200 SMA around 2250, 2260, right? I think that today's big move on that it's going to need to rest. It's going to need to go sideways, perhaps even pull back to give us another possible entry. But man, what a move for it today, and that's kind of good because that thing's gotten beat the hell out of for the last couple months. PBAC, and again, like I said also too, and in case you haven't watched the previous video, what I like to do is when I go through my liquid gainers, I like to look at these stocks and say, hey, look, if this was a good mover, why did I miss it? Did I not see it on my scanner list? And if I had saw it, how would I have played it, right? So this one here, PVAC, right? PVAC, man, you could have taken this on a red to green. It opened up weak, right? Pressed down. Once it remounted the open price plus 1 penny, right? Once it was green 1 penny, man, you could have shredded. You could have shredded this thing, right? You could have bought it at roughly 1176, and you could have rode this thing all the way up here to at least 1450, right, to at least 1450. It's not bad. It's not a bad return on a day trade at all, right? But again, I think we're also starting to get a little extended here because you got to see our 9 EMA is around 1030, and we're almost what $3.50 off of that. So again, I'm going to pass on this one for tomorrow. Sorry, I got the hiccups. I'm going to pass on this one again for tomorrow. Play was a great play for me today. I actually had this on my watch list yesterday. So I was already looking forward to hitting this bad boy because what did I say? I said I think it's going to break out, and sure enough, I set my alert last night, and I was notified first thing when it popped over. I already had my trade ticket ready. Man, it was nice, right? We still have a continuation, I think, although it will be day 3 for Friday. I don't know that we have the ability to get back to the 200 SMA. This one also looks to be about $5 off of the 9 EMA, so you're going to have to risk quite a bit, right? So remember, we always want to be in the business of taking 2-to-1 reward to risk ratio. And what I mean by 2-to-1 reward to risk ratio is that if you're risking, let's say on this trade here in particular, if you're having to risk $5 on play, right, you're going to need to at least make $10 a share in order for it to meet your reward to risk ratio. So now, do I think we have the ability to go another 5 points tomorrow? Probably not, right? Because again, if we look at where the move started, which is around here, around the $13 level, we're already $7 up, right? What's the chance? This thing has kind of sat around and gone this way, up and down, kept tapping, testing the trend line, and then it finally broke. Now, I do think it's possible that we could get another day out of this flat top breakout, right? For us, I would actually call this a day 2 continuation. But again, I don't know how much more range you have before it's going to go sideways. I would be very cautious and let the price action dictate to you. However, I don't think I'm going to keep this on my list for tomorrow. I don't know. There may be hotter plays. We haven't gone through the list yet. SRG. Put this on my list last night. This is $2.46 today, right? We've got some room on this bad boy, right? And we had increasing volume, right? We got higher than average volume, so we have decent relative volume at this point. Did almost 4 million shares today, so we have room. We have room all the way up to the 200 SMA, right? Which is about $31, right? 31.54, give or take, right? Man, this could be another hot thing. I'm going to keep this on my list for tomorrow because I think this may be, it may be a little too late to get it on a swing because I do think this is the 4th tap. Now, if it's got to hold this breakout, if it pops back under tomorrow, there is a possibility that you could take a red to green. So this could be the scenario tomorrow that you might want to look for in SRG. We may want to look for the for sellers to take some profits in the morning, have the price dip down, right? Have it dip down below the open, and once it goes red to green, you can hit that. So remember, red to green, once the price goes positive 1 cent, right? So this has nothing to do with indicators. This has nothing to do with volume. This has nothing to do with anything other than strictly price. This is probably one of the easiest patterns I teach. This is probably one of the easiest patterns to learn because the only thing you need to know is, hey, when this thing goes 0.01 green, you hit that bad boy. But remember, like I said before, for those that didn't watch the previous video, you want to be in the business of having your order tickets prepared ahead of time, so when it gives you the proper entry point, you're able to hit the button and be done with it, right? You don't want to be fumbling trying to fill out an order ticket or placing an order. However, like I know I used DOS Trader Pro. Other people use things like Thinkorswim, or they use TC2000 or Interactive Brokers Trade Station or the various software out there. You don't want to be having to react to the price. You want to anticipate. When you can anticipate, right, you can get it in early, right? And most of the time you'll have a smaller risk when you get in. You'll have a chance for a bigger reward. If you're going to wait for confirmation before you open that, or before you prepare a ticket, you're going to miss the move. You're going to miss the move. That's all there is to it. But again, I'm looking on a red to green for this tomorrow as well. Save was another one on my list. Man, I nailed my list last night. I feel pretty damn good about myself, right? So, and if any of you took any of the trades off that list, but again, it's kind of hard because you didn't get my list in time before the market opened because of YouTube and their glitchy processing service, right? They didn't get the video posted. But again, for those of you that did just take save, man, you made some money today, right? Up almost $4. However, I do think we're extremely extended from this. We need a pullback on this, right? Plus, on top of that, we are severely overbought, right? So this would be one of the trades that I would consider for a rubber band snapback. If you don't know what a rubber band snapback is, you can join our bootcamp program and you can learn how to play rubber band snapbacks. But again, we're completely outside our Bollinger Band. It's heavily oversold. I do think this is a good potential for a short tomorrow. If the market, man, if the market's down tomorrow, this thing has room to fall. And I'm almost pretty certain that AAL, I didn't really pay much attention to that. Yeah, AAL is okay, right? I mean, it's not overbought at this point. It's still kind of in the middle, right? And for those that aren't familiar, right? For those that are not familiar, overbought stocks are stocks on like the indicator on my TC2000. Overbought is anything over 80. Extreme overbought is 90 or more, right? And something that is oversold is 20, is under 20, right? 20 and under. Extremely oversold is under 10, right? So those are great candidates when you see those patterns emerge. But again, it's not something that goes over a long period of time. It's usually a very, very sharp increase in a matter of anywhere from like 3 to maybe even 5 to 7 days. Those are usually the short-term corrections, right? So if you can catch them on the right way, they're very hard to be successful with. You'll have a very, very low win rate with those. My win rate on rubber band snapbacks since I started trading is about 22%. On average, I think the average is going to be like maybe 1 out of every 4 or 5 times you play. You'll be successful with it. It's just sometimes, I mean, like give you an example. I'll show you one that I was just camping out waiting for, right? This Twilio. When this Twilio got out over that Bollinger Band here, I kept thinking like, man, this is a good rubber band snapback, right? I'm waiting for this rubber band short on this. And look, I'm completely, I mean, at this point, I'm like way. The stochastics here was, man, let's see, the stochastics was like over 80, like almost 90 on these days, and it kept getting up higher and higher and higher, and I kept waiting for it to short, but guess what? It didn't, right? I didn't get a short opportunity until over here, but by this time, I mean, it had already come down, and then it bounced right back up. So, again, and how you play a rubber band snapback, right, to the long or to the short side is, once you can identify it on your daily chart, you're going to take any of the various intraday patterns that we teach or that on how you hit a stock, right? So again, if a stock is heavily extended and you're looking to short it, you're going to look for a weakness, right? You're going to look for like a bear flag, right? Or the 90 MA curling down over top of your candle, right? Of your price, that acts like a hand that kind of holds its head underwater and just kind of drives it down. And then, of course, if a stock is beaten down and it is extremely oversold, you can use any of the intraday patterns that for stocks that are for strength, right? Such as you can use any of the opening patterns that we teach as far as like opening range breakout and things like that, or you can also use it on pullbacks, flag breaks, things like that. So again, those are ways that you can hit stocks. But right now, I just don't see it happening here on UAL. I mean, it's possible. I will keep an eye on it. We do have room from 39.60 down to potentially the 90 MA. I just don't know that it's going to go back down that far, right? And again, this it's kind of breaking, it's like a flat top breakout. So it's very well possible it's more, it just kind of rips up as well. But again, it's going to be day 5. Not really sure I want to put much faith in that. I think there may be hotter plays. Let's see, we're looking at, I guess we're going to call this GIII, right? Um, Nice day. It's, uh, I don't know. It's a nice break, right? We can see right here, we got pretty much a flat top breakout at this point. But again, you have room up to the 200 SMA. Uh, Not interested. We got JetBlue Airways, and like I said, I wasn't ready to play airlines, and apparently it doesn't matter what I want. The market's going to do what it's want, and we can see right here, JetBlue is working on filling its gap back. Right, it's working on filling its gap back, but again, you've only got a couple more bucks up until the 200 SMA resistance. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how these airlines do. You got Delta Airlines as well. Man, I feel like I should have just made my damn watch list of airlines for today. But again, same thing. You've got room up to the 200 SMA around 46. Man, that's nice. All right. But again, same as the other ones. Tomorrow's gonna be day 5. So I'm not really sure. I really want to. I'm not sure I want to put a lot of faith in that. Right. This RRGB. This has been on our list a couple times this week. All right, Red Robin. Actually, I think we had discussed it in last night's watch list video. Interesting, right? We have room up to about 25 on your 200 SMA. It's possible that this thing could continue. So you might want to put this on your list for a potential continuation play for the next day. Again, not really sure I like it. Pin. Man, I told you this thing. Man, look at this. Perfect flag break, right? Perfect flag break. Again, now we're kind of getting a little bit more extended here. We're at 37.45. Our 9 EMA is at 32. We're probably gonna have to risk $5 in a swing trade. Do you think this thing can go $10 tomorrow? I don't. I don't. Do I think it can go $10 for a swing trade? I don't, because you got resistance right here at about 39.68. So again, not really sure I would want to be in this one here. If it breaks above this 39 level, and again on TC2000, it's real simple. This is how I mark my levels. You go to the horizontal bar, right, and you just click it, and then automatically it'll, like, you can right click it here, and you could actually show the value. Click it will show you the value of the level. So when you're when you're zoomed in, right, you may not see the previous levels, but you already have them marked, so you already know. And the nice thing about marking your daily levels is it does transfer over to your intraday chart as well. So maybe if let's just say that, for instance, we have a level that's marked and it's right here. Well, it'll show on my daily chart. It'll also show on my intraday chart. So maybe if I had that level marked here, and maybe it comes up here, the stock comes up here and it pulls back, I'm like, okay, well, this is the resistance level, right? Once it breaks that, now I've got that confirmation that we've got some momentum, and then that way there, we allow these price levels, previous price levels, to help us and to provide us additional indicators on whether or not a trade is worth our time and effort and our resources, right? So again, remember, support and resistance isn't just about moving averages, right? It's also about price, right? Support and resistance comes from moving averages as well as price levels, right? Price has a memory. It's like people, right? We remember, so again, we can almost look right here and say, look, when it got up here at 39.18, this was, like, even right here. See, it popped up, hit this 39.18, pulled back, right? Three more days, it got up here again, and it got rejected again at this level. So again, I would be interested in this stock if it's able to break this 39.18, because this will be the third tap, and if it breaks that, it would be a flat top breakout and a nice trade to get into. This baritone, I'm pretty sure I had this on my list, or we actually had covered it last night. But another continuation, right? So now we are 5 days up on this, right? This was the entry for a swing right here. So if you were able to get your entry in here, you're good to go. We are way too far, way too extended. We're at 1369. Our nines at our 9 EMA is at $10. So yeah, listen, we need a pullback on this, right? And plus, it's complete. It's severely overbought. Um, this could be a potential for a short. Again, it's kind of a small cap. I don't do well shorting small caps just because they are so volatile. Plus, you got to figure this company only has 24.8 million shares, right? So there is a great possibility that this stock can be very volatile because of the low number of shares, right? Its float size is a number of shares. But again, it's under $500 million market cap, right? So again, not really sure that I want to put a lot of faith in that. Um, Again, then again, for all we know, it could go up and just. But you're going to need some sideways. You're going to need some consolidation. You're going to need some pullback if you have you want to take this for a long. But again, this was your swing entry down here around 9. It's a little late to be chasing at this point, right? If you chase it and you get hammered, you got what you deserved. We got this U.S. Global Jets ETF, man. So for those of you that maybe don't want to play airlines, this might be something you might be interested in. As you can see, we've got a nice break here. Right, we got a nice break here. We have room up until 25.42. Um, we're only $2.50 off our 9 EMA. It's possible that you could take this, but again, it'll be day 5, just like the airline. So I would let price action dictate. Again, we got Penny Mac. It'll be a day 5. You've got room up until the 19 for the 200 SMA. Just not really sure I like it, right? Um, Capri Holdings. It'll be day 5, but you have room up to the 26. And again, it looks like we're starting to get some nice volume days. Again, today was a little bit less than yesterday, but 8 million shares is not bad. You do have a buck right now. If you look on here, you have a buck 56 and average true range. But again, I mean, look, this was a nice open, right? It pushed down, right? So again, this morning it was day 3, right? So the market opened. Sellers came in, took some profits, drive the price down. Other buyers saw the value, got in, and then look, man, they just pressed it up. Once it went red to green, again, one penny green, you buy this right here. So you buy this at roughly 19 or 1790, what, 94, 93. Man, it made it all the way up to 20, right? Made it all the way up to 20. You could have just rode your 9 EMA, right? You could have done a 9 EMA dick rider all the way up, right? All the way up right here to about 1975 before you would have gotten stopped out. All right, so that's hot. These are the kind of things we want to look at, but I don't know that this has a potential for a day 5. You do not want to be late, right? If we're seeing these moves now, it's already late, right? Everybody else is already in those. The people that matter are the people that mattered the most were already in there. They already saw it. They're in there. They're making their money. If we get in now, all we're doing is buying their shares. They're selling us our shares, and we're going to get stuck at the top holding the bag. And no one wants to be the bag holder. I learned my lesson last year with BPTH and a couple others, right? Like CrowdStrike and stuff. So, again, I don't want to make those mistakes again. But again, same thing, JWN. If you look, we're seeing the same thing that we saw last night with all these stocks. All these stocks that were beaten down are now starting to come back. They're starting to roar back, and they're looking to break their their flat top breakouts here. Again, this one here, I'm going to put on my list. I'm going to set. I'm actually going to put on my list. I'm just going to set an alert. So if this thing breaks my trend line tomorrow, I know that this could be a good play for me, right? But again, it's day 5, right? This is the part of the problem, is that this has been up all week, right? So it's possible. But if I get a flat top breakout, it is possible that we could make some serious move. This thing has moved all the way from 1633 all the way up to 2185. So it's almost a $5-6 move for this week, right? Do I think we have another $2-3 day in store? Possibly, right? You could probably day trade this. I don't know that I would take it on a swing because again, we're talking about the move was $5 ago for a $21 stock. So again, let price action dictate what you're looking for. Um, PK, same thing. Tomorrow's gonna be day 5. These things have been up all week, right? Uh, this is interesting, right? This is interesting. I like this one. I like this one a lot, and let me tell you why. All right, first off, like I've said before, okay, I've said this before. My favorite swing pattern is pull back to the 20, remount the 9, and go. So again, the day before, right, it blew through the 9 and the 20. It gapped down, right? And now today it remounted the 20 and then it remounted the 9 and it just kept going. I like this for a day 2 continuation. However, be very, very, very careful. I think we do have resistance up here around 100, like 100, 150. And then maybe potential resistance up here around 103. Again, this might be a little tricky to trade just because it's financial, but it has the ability to make some moves. I mean, this was a great move today, right? I mean, look at this. I don't know how you can't look at this chart today and be like, damn, I wish I would have played this, right? You could have taken this. Look at it. Let's zoom in here, right? You could have taken this at the open. It kept busting down, but once it broke, it went red to green. 1 penny, right? You could have got this right here at 86.92, right? And where did it go? 86.92. It went up to 9. It got up to 97 before the close of the market, right? Even if you rode your 9, you could have at least held it. Like, I don't know if you would have got stopped out there, but let's say you did, right? That's still a $3 move. Maybe you didn't get stopped out. Maybe you got stopped out up here, right? That's still that's a $4 move, right? You just keep going up. Maybe you get you definitely got stopped up here if you rode up the 9. You could have rode up your 20. If you rode your stop up your 20 all day, you wouldn't have got stopped out till up here, right? So you still would have been able to rip $7 on that. Again, 3.7 million shares. I don't know if it's going to continue tomorrow. I will put this on my list. I might end up taking this one back off, but man, I wish I would have been in this bad boy today because that's freaking nice, right? Let's see. I don't know. I mean, we do have a break, right? But again, it's just one of those failed breaks, or is it going to be sustained tomorrow? It's possible. If we can break above tomorrow, if we can break above this, we have room up until about 17, right? So if we're looking at our 90 MA, we're only down here at about what 950. So you're only risking about $1, maybe $1.25 at most. Do I think you can make 250 on this? I do. And right now, real estate is really been awesome this week, right? So I don't know. We'll put this on the list. We may take it off. SPR, man, I told you. I told you. I bet this is still on my list, right? It should say, yep. Man, look at that. But now we're getting a little extended, right? We're about $6 off our 9 EMA. All right, we're $6 off here. You do have some room, right? We do have some room. Let's see. Let me adjust here. sometimes TC2000, like I'll set price levels and arbitrarily it will move the next day. Like when I reopen the software, I don't know if it's because when I put my price levels, I might have been zoomed out really really far and I thought I had it really close. But when I kind of zoom in and stuff, sometimes I see where it's kind of off. So it's probably more user error than it is TC2000 doing something. But man, look, this chart was choppy as shit all today, right? Like I don't want to trade this crap. I don't. I mean, yeah, I would have loved to trade the first candle. I mean, look at that. That first candle is nice, right? But then it's just a lot of chop back and forth, right? You can't really hit it with any sort of good idea, right? Nothing even followed through. But again, I mean, man, it was up, you know, $3 today. So a lot of that really came in the after hours as well. I don't know. It'll be day three. If you're in it for a swing, you can continue to hold. But if you're not, you're gonna have to wait for a pullback on this one as well. We have Ruth Hospitality Group. I think this is Ruth Chris Steakhouse. Um, Great steaks, by the way. Um, if you haven't had one, I severely recommend it. This was nice, right? So the open, it just pressed down, right? You had some profit taking here, got down below the open. Man, you could have bought it at 1 penny when it went red to green, the 921. And you could have ripped some serious money. I mean, you could have ripped a buck on that today. It's not bad. I mean, listen, it's not the hottest play we've seen, but listen, if somebody said, "Hey, I'm going to give you a buck a share," are you going to take it? Hell yeah, you will, right? Because a $9 stock, right? Again, a $9 stock, you can buy 1,000, maybe 2,000 shares of this. You could roll 2,000 shares of this bad boy, and you can get a buck. It's 2 grand, right? 2 grand, and what do you have to really do? All you got to kind of do is make sure that you're managing your stop loss so you don't get stopped out of your trade. If you're actually able to navigate this bullshit right here, right? If you can navigate this bullshit right here, man, you can manage to hold through all that stuff. You earned it, right? It's an easy day. I love those easy days. Again, this Chimera investment, we've got this nice base breakout happening here. I do think we can get a day two continuation for this base breakout, right? This is nice, right? So when I talk about base breakout, this is when your stocks have kind of been beaten down. They're usually 40% off, 40% or more off its highs or its recent highs, and we can see it was up here around 21. It got down here to about $6-7 around the $7 area. So yeah, that's more than 40. That's more than 40% off its highs. I do think we have room at least. I do think we have room to at least up here, maybe to about 12. I don't think. I don't know. I don't think we're gonna get back to the 200 SMA. We very well could. I'm just not real certain, right? It's possible. But again, you could put this on your list tomorrow. We're not so far off of the 9 EMA. So you're probably risking about a buck. That might be a good swing. But again, I would watch the price action in the morning to find out what you want to do. This EPR, day 5, it's like we have room. I think it's going to fill its gap. But I think this is where it's going to kind of either go sideways or start to pull back. So I mean, you have room up until what do we say that was 43. I mean, you maybe have potentially $2 worth of range to hit before you hit some sort of resistance. It's possible, not really sure. Again, and it's possible that you could get this, but again, you could probably get a better entry, and you definitely don't want to be buying on day 5. I normally don't buy anything on a day 5 unless it's just such a monster run that FOMO takes over and I've got to get in. But again, day 5 play, it's not really my thing. We got a potential day 3 here. Again, it broke this flag area here. You've got second day here. The key here is going to be, does it hold its 200 SMA? If it can hold its 200 SMA, you could take this for a swing, and you have room probably up at least here till about maybe 65. So that this could be a potential possibility for you. Again, you're probably risking at, well, you're probably going to risk about $6. So you need to make sure you can make 12 out of this, right? So can we hit 60? It's possible. Is it likely? I don't know. It's got to hold this 200 SMA. So far, I'm not really seeing a lot of stuff I want to really add to my list here, which kind of tells me where we're at. Norwegian Cruise Line. I've had this on my list for a while here. I needed to break above this. I needed to break this trend line here. So I'm gonna set that alert for that. If it breaks that trend line, yes, I most likely will. Man, day 5. It's just, and plus we're over, and we're overbought. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. I'll have to see what kind of move it makes, right? If the momentum's good enough, I'll get in it. If not, I'll just wait, right? And listen, that's the hardest part about being a trader, is having to develop the discipline to wait. Like, we always see these stocks running and we're like, oh my God, I just want to get in it, right? Because we see how other stocks have run before. We're looking at all this list and we're seeing almost the exact same freaking pattern, right? We're seeing flat top breakouts, base breakouts, right? We're seeing all these things on our daily charts. So we're like, man, like, if we could have got in here, like I could have got in here, I could have got it at less than 14 and sold it at 22. That could have been an $8 rip. And we started thinking, well, hey, we can get an $8 rip here, right? Well, this one here started at 18. Well, we can probably get another $3 up to 26. It doesn't always work like that, right? It'd be nice if it did, because then we could just, find moves that worked well and then just repeat them. But it doesn't always work like that, right? So again, it's possible, but right now we're you're about $3, $3.50 off of your 9 EMA. Do I think you can get 6? I don't know. It's a bank, right? Banks typically don't give you a whole bunch of range. The average here range for this is 171, so it's possible. I think we got hotter plays. Again, Signet Jewelers, it's a nice day. We talked about this. This is on my list, right? The next test, right? This is going to be day 5. So tomorrow it's going to be really, really hard for you to take this for a trade for multiple reasons. First off, it's overbought at 81.94. It'll be a day 5 play. And you also have the 200 SMA, right, for resistance up here. So you've got multiple things working against it. I don't think this will be a potential play for tomorrow. Typically, what you want to do, we want to see this happen. And one thing you want to do as a trader is you want to kind of start having a little bit of an imagination, right? Look, I'm not saying be delusional or anything, but we kind of want to imagine what scenarios could potentially play out in the coming days, right? So if we know that we are, almost we're $3.50 off our 9 EMA, and we know that, let's say that for our strategy of playing, right? I don't mean our pattern, I mean our strategy, right? The way that we trade, our personality, the way we trade. Some people are comfortable risking $3 or more on a trade. For me, for a swing trade, I think the most I've risked at any given point was five, maybe $6, right? Which means I've got to make at least $10 to $12 back per share for it to be a good trade for me, right? To be one that's worth my time. Day trading, now I've used a larger stop loss, but then again, I was trading things like TVIX when it hit up around 1,000, right? But again, I just, we want to have a little bit of imagination. We want to say, okay, look, if Signet Jewelers kind of goes sideways, right? How many potential days do I think it's going to take going sideways before the 9 EMA and maybe even the 20 start catching up, right? And again, what we want to look for, especially for swing trades, is we want the 9 EMA to be tight, right? The further away from your price is from the 9 EMA, the riskier the trade is, right? The more extended you are. So what we're looking for, if we wanted to take a swing on this right here, where we have the 9 EMA just like hugging its butt, right? Hugging the butt of these candles. Here, let me see it right here. It's just hugging the butt, right? Right there. This would be a perfect entry for your swing trade. Same thing. You could have taken it on the day 2 and really not had to risk that much more, and you really weren't getting it too much higher. But man, if you could have got in on this day here, look where you're at. You went from around the 11. Say you got it at the end of the day, 1150, right, or 1140. Man, we're up, $4, 2 days later. So it would have been a great swing entry. But again, there's a lot of things working against this. So hopefully you're kind of picking up what I'm putting down, right? You're kind of seeing the same things I'm talking about. So for those of you that actually understand patterns or know some of the patterns or familiar with the things that I'm saying, like when I say, hey, look, base breakout, things like that. Again, they're all pretty common patterns, right? So it's not like what I'm teaching is something that is proprietary and something I've developed entirely on my own that no one else is privy to. But again, for those of you that don't understand patterns, right? Like you see all these things and you're like, man, I just want to be in this stuff. It's kind of dangerous to do, right? But again, I don't really know. Like this one here, Aaron's, pass. But it's nice to see all these stocks that are coming back. Again, another flat top breakout, right? Another flat top breakout. And the nice thing about TC2000 as well is I've got a percentage on here, right? So this is the 0% line. And then, of course, the price shows me what it's done for the day. So I know that, look, for me to get up here, we have at least another $5 to the 200 SMA. But again, day 5. So these stocks have been up all week, right? Again, day 5, flat top breakout. It's possible you can get an additional day or two of the breakout, but you have to really consider where the breakout started. This breakout started for HP, almost $4, $5 ago. I don't like all this, right? We talked about this one last night too. This one here we didn't. This one's. It's possible. I don't really know how much you. I mean, you probably have room up at least until 24. I don't know. It's only $1. I'd pass. Not hot enough for me. TD Ameritrade. Scott, right? It can fill its gap at 50. It's possible. The key is going to be, can it hold its 200 SMA, right? So it just remounted its 200 SMA. But again, this is day 5, right? And you got to look at where the move started. The move started actually at the price level I had marked previously, right? So I had previous levels marked. Where did I have this marked at? Yeah, I had levels marked all the way back from August 2017, right? So again, I don't know. I mean, you're still $5 off of your, 5 and some change off of your 9 EMA. I think we're a little too extended for this, right? Because again, we're going to at least need to make 10, right? Do I think it's going to go to 55? No, because the next resistance level is going to be probably around 50 to 52. So pass. Day 5. I bet this whole freaking list is day 5. That's going to really piss me off if it is. Because again, here's the day 3, but again, I don't like to buy on day 3. Day 3, you have already missed the move. And granted, this is not a big move, right? But from 12 to 13.45, I mean, that's significant. Oh. And I promise you, I wasn't trying to make a really long video tonight, but apparently it's gonna it's gonna be that, right? I'll try to keep this under an hour at most. Again, I like to go through my stuff a lot quicker, but I'm also trying to explain why I'm putting stuff on there. At some point, I'll probably just go on my list and go through things, pick what I like, point out little things here and there, build my list, then go through my list and call it down, and then explain to you why I picked what I picked. That might be a little bit easier, and it'll allow me to work more quickly and efficiently, so I don't have to stop and talk and explain quite as much. So, but again, CCL, man, day 5. But listen, I mean, there's not a whole lot of move, right? I still think this is going to go sideways before it breaks out. But again, you still got about almost $2 for your stop loss. This one here is interesting. I need to see it break this 47 level before I really kind of want to get into this here. Because again, I'm not real sure. Well, maybe about 45. I'd say it's got to break that 45, 46 level before I'll take it. Uh, but man, it's nice to see that one breaking out or coming back as well. I mean, it's a nice long base breakout from the middle of March. So again, this is what I mean. You can see all these stocks, they all went down. Like their lows are middle of March, right? And they're all starting to come back. So these are going to become easier plays, right? This is a swing trader's market right now. If you're a swing trader, you can make some serious cash. Serious cash. You can probably make better returns on your investment than a day trader could at this point, right? I mean, the only problem is you got to hold it, but these things are going to come back. It's just how long is it going to take, right? Um, you find a good stock that has nice range. Even if it only gets back half the way, if it only makes back 50% of its losses, you made some great money, right? So, uh, Carnival PLC, I guess it's like the part of the Carnival Cruise Line. Like we already looked at CCL earlier. Let's see. Day two. This will be a day three tomorrow. You probably have some room. I mean, at worst, it might fill this gap here to 20. I don't know. I'll put it on my list. I'm not real sure I'll trade it. Again, it might be something I'll watch for tomorrow. BKE, like my watch list is already up to 25, but we got to take a few stocks off that I know I won't be trading. Some I will be keeping because I do think that they have the ability to go. This one here, this RLJ, you probably have room up to your 14, but again, you're having to give yourself almost a buck and a half stop loss on a $12 stock. Not interested. Chemours Company, right? Again, overbought, day five, right? But here's the other thing too, and the one thing that you need to think about is when you have flat top breakouts, you're going to anytime you have any sort of a breakout, you're always going to be overbought. So overbought, we don't take trades, right? I teach my students we don't take trades based off of one indicator, right? Like my mentor taught us, we're lawyers. We're building a case, right? We're building a case using all these different indicators, using our price patterns, using volume, looking at the volume, looking at our stochastics and things like that. We're going through to make a case on whether or not a stock is worth our time and attention. But again, I don't know. This one here, the biggest thing about this one here is that it broke its 200 SMA, so it reclaimed the 200 SMA and it held it. So you do have room up here to at least, I'm going to say 1886, potentially even up here to around 19, almost 20 bucks. But again, this is a day five. I'm not sure. Again, what I ideally want to see is I actually would like to see this kind of just consolidate for a couple days, bring my 90 a little bit closer, and then I'll hit that bad boy, right? But till then, I think I'm going to pass, right? This one here, not too bad, right? You're only risking maybe 75 cents. You're only 75 cents away from your 9 EMA. But again, you can see it hit your resistance level here at 28, and then it rejected. So again, before this thing can be even in play, we've got to break through this 200 SMA level at 28, or it potentially just get rejected back down again. But again, the more times that it taps this resistance level, the weaker this resistance level is going to get. And it's like I explained to my students, it's like you having this steel door on your, or like this big giant oak door on your house, right? Like this indestructible oak door. And I come to your house with a steel pipe or a bat, and I keep pounding it, right? The more I keep pounding the same spot, right, which in this case the resistance level, the more I keep pounding it, the weaker it's going to get. So finally, when I do hit that right time, it's not only going to bust your door, it's going to bust through your door because it's been hit so many times. It is weak, right? But again, this would only be like a 2-tapper at this point. So even on this, even if it broke here, I don't think I would take it for any sort of a flat top breakout because it's 2 taps and we're looking for 3 taps, right? 3 taps on our breakouts. Um, um, I'm not really seeing a whole lot on here, right? I see some really nice intraday charts from plays today, but again, we're seeing things that are basically uh, gonna have to clear this level at 23, 27 before I'd even consider this one here. It's possible it does it tomorrow, but I don't know. I have so many, there are so little opportunities because a lot of these are going to be day 5 or day 3 plays that I don't really want to chase. Um, so, like I said, this is where you want to have a little bit of imagination and say, okay, so what would be the ideal scenario for me to get into this trade, right? Maybe in a day or two it pulls back, tightens up to the 9, right? Tightens up your 9 EMA. So maybe right now you have to risk a buck 40. But maybe in a couple days, your 9 EMA is right up around here, and if it goes sideways, now maybe you're only risking 50 cents, right? Would you rather risk a buck 40 per share, or would you rather risk 50 cents, right? We want to risk 50 cents, right? Because one, we can take a larger position size, right? Because we're still going to risk the same amount of whatever we're going to risk per trade. But I would rather risk, if I'm going to risk the exact same amount, I want to have a tighter stop, right? Because that means I can take more position size. So if it does run, I stand to make more money. If I've got to have a wider stop loss, sure, I might stay in the trade, but I'm going to have a lot less shares, right? So it may do what I want, but it may take some time. But again, I'm looking I'm looking to manage my risk, right? I want a tighter stop loss than something that is a buck some odd. Because again, if it, since you're so far away, since you're so extended, if it retraces back and you get stopped out, well, you still lose the same amount of money. So let's say, for instance, you're risking $200 on the trade. If you're risking $200 on the trade and you get stopped out, you lose 200 bucks. Whether you have bought shares based off of a 50-cent stop loss or a buck 40, right? So you're still going to lose the same 200 bucks. The difference is what happens if it goes, right? Well, if it does go, well, you give yourself such a wide stop loss that you couldn't take the same amount of shares, right? So to give you an example, let's say that you had to do a 50-cent stop loss, right? If you did a 50-cent stop loss, maybe you could buy 200 shares. But if you do a dollar stop loss, well, you can only buy 100 shares. So let's say the stock goes $5, right? Let's say it loses $5. If you had 200 shares, you made $1,000 profit. If you have a dollar stop loss and it goes $5, you only make 500, right? So again, that's the key to good risk management, right? It's not just about making sure that you limit what you lose, but it's also managing your winners so you can maximize your profit level. Because there's going to be days when you profit really, really well, right? And you got to let your winners run. And there's also going to be days, when you don't win, right? So we want to have those days that we don't win. We want to be able to make up for them on the days that we do win by making 2-to-1 reward to risk ratio or better. So again, I'm not really seeing a whole lot on this here. I mean, we still got a lot of stocks, man. Like let me go. Just give me a second here. I'm gonna fly through these real quick. See if I see anything I like that stands out to me. And this actually is how fast I go through stocks. I think I went up a little too high. This is how I'm able to look at roughly anywhere from 800 to 1,000 charts a day. Like I'll see something that might pique my interest and be like, hell, I'll stop for a minute. Like, okay, no, give me a little bit more assessment. We've already covered these earlier. Oh, we didn't cover. I didn't see this before. This thing has gotten beaten down so bad. And then they did a reverse split here not too long ago. But again, all right, we already saw this one. I saw this one. I apologize for the awkward silence here. I'm just trying to get through a few more stocks here, right? So as you can see, as we go down this list here, the percentage change is getting lesser and lesser. Once I probably get to around 3%, that's where I use my cutoff. Um, Interesting. I like that it's remounting the 9 EMA, but for me to take this, I want that remount of the 20. I think. All right, so it's about 20. It has to break that 20, but uh, I may just be playing the same list tomorrow that I had today. And this, damn, shit. I like this though. I think we have room. I think it recovered. I think it hits up to up to the 200 SMA. Fucking day five. I'll flag it. Tomorrow will be a day six. Um, Plus, you got to figure we're only a two tap. Well, mm, I'll put it on my list just to be safe. I might end up taking it back off. Get another flat top breakout here. Um, I wish it was a little bit more liquid for day trading, but again, this might be. You can't take a swing on this. I don't think just because you're gonna have to risk $2. I mean, could you make four? Yes, but so day five, we'll flag it. Oops, I didn't flag it. I day four no. That's a whole lot of days up. But again, it's not a whole big giant range, right? It's only 69 cent range, average true range. But again, you know, it's going up. If you got in your entry, your entry for swing would have been preferably here, but you probably could have got it right about here. You would have risked a little bit more. Um, you still would have the same range. Man, look at this. Thor. Look where it got down here in March. Kind of started coming back here in early April, and it just said it didn't give a shit, right? Gives you 3 day pullback to the 9, pressed up, 3 day pullback to the 20, remount the 9. Man, you're gonna hear me say it a lot, right? Pull back to the 20, remount the 9, and it just goes, right? Next day it gaps up. Man, I got it from 70 up to 100. Man, that's $30. Another flat top breakout here. Well, kind of, yeah, flat top breakout. This one here is interesting, right? Now, maybe not so much today, but this is what I'm looking for, right? I'm looking for, here, I'm going to make this trend just down here a little bit more. So what I'll typically do when I draw my trend line, especially for what I think things are getting ready to break out, I will kind of, I won't draw a straight line across. What I'll do is I will actually draw the line tilted down, right? And set the alert. So I'll get the alert before it happens. So as soon as the alert comes up, I'll pull up this chart and I'll see exactly what I'm looking for. And I'll already have the forewarning that it could potentially break that. Now, For all we know, it can go up here, it could tap, and then just get rejected back like it did the previous 3 times, right? But we'll have to wait and see. But I think this is possible for next week, right? I would like to see it just go sideways for a little bit before it comes up and taps, right? Because again, it's most likely going to fail if it taps tomorrow because of where the move started, right? It'd be a day 5. It's just, again, this is how we go through it. Um, I've already gone through pretty much half this list. eBay. eBay gave no shits, man. COVID-19 bounced right back up. Look at that nice 1-2-3 reversal. And you can always tell a 1-2-3 reversal because it looks like a W. Or 1-2-3 is a W, and that 1-2-3 reversal is like a letter M. Alright, so we're going to go through the list real quick here, and I'm going to see what I can take off. LK, I will most likely keep this on the list again for tomorrow. It's a day 4, but I do think we have a destiny to hit the 50 SMA and get rejected, and then I think it will go sideways before it remounts the 50 SMA, and then we have some room to party up to 24, right? I would love to see it fill that gap up there about 26, right? This would be nice. If we can get back up here, I'll be loving life, man, because I'm still sitting real pretty in this trade. Play potential day 3. It'd be a day two continuation on the break. I'm gonna keep it on there. SRG, I'm gonna keep on there. Save UAL. I'll keep it on there. Pen, I will definitely keep on there for a day 2 continuation. I just don't know how much more room we're gonna have. Again, we really need to clear this 39.18 to really have some fun with this. RGA, yeah, I think we got some room, maybe up to, if we can clear this level right here, like I said before, we have room maybe up to about 110, around 113. I like this a lot, and man, that's a badass intraday chart, right? That thing was just cooking all day, right? Cooking all damn day. HXR. We have some room up to about 1250. It looks like maybe 13. I'll keep it on there. SPR. We have some room. CIM, yeah. Signet. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see tomorrow what it does with the 200 SMA. Denny's, yes, there's a possibility to keep on there for another day. Cook, Vicom. We had talked about this last night as well. It's possible this wouldn't be okay. OSTK, yeah, I think tomorrow will be another continuation play. Damn. JNUG. JNUG I usually keep on there just in case I don't have any really good plays for the day. I like the days when it gives me some good range. Today wasn't that day, right? Actually, I expect tomorrow to be a red day. I just do. Air, I think we're a little too much for my like. I don't know. Day 4, right? Man, it's gonna be a big ass watch list. Nugget, I already keep on daily. I'm taking this off. I don't know. This it all depends, but I don't know. This thing can move, right? When it moves, it moves. Um, I don't know. I'm taking it off. Dust, same thing. ACB, like I said, it had to hold the 9 and it failed to do so. But it's a nice flag, right? I mean, if we can just get to go sideways and then remount that 9 EMA, you might actually have some room back up to the $20 level, maybe even 20 and some change. JDST, I just keep on. LVGO would take. Yeah, I'm taking that one off. I just don't think so. Nail, I really thought it had a good possibility today. Again, I think I have way more than enough. This is what I'm going to do. This is going to be my list for tonight, right? This list will most likely change in the morning, especially based off of the amount of gappers that I have on the list in the morning, right? So depending on the gapper scans, I may have several stocks that I'm able to actually put on here that may become my focus plays. But right now, um, man, it's really even hard to say which one I like, right? It's like I can't even name my favorite one right now. I'm probably gonna have to sleep on this overnight and then kind of just see what kind of gappers I have in the morning, right? Again, nothing on this list is overly exciting to me, right? And again, I didn't see a whole lot on the liquid gainers that I had to be in. Like I said, the majority of them were day 5 plays. It's just not really my thing. Again, some people do well with it, but again, you got to manage your risk, especially on a day 5 play. You're going to have to take if you get profits, you're going to take them quick, right? Just because you can't rely on continuation on day 5ers, right? It's like showing up late to the party, and then everybody else decides they're going to leave, and you're like, what the hell? Now you got to clean up everything, right? So, again, that's my list right now. I'm sticking to it. Over the weekend, I'll actually do a video how I prepare for the market. I'll break down the sector analysis. We'll go through the sectors and we'll find some really, really hot ideas for next week. Um, Sunday night worked really, really well for this week, right? I mean, you can see a lot of my watch list this week has been pretty freaking awesome, right? I mean, it's nice. Like I can just scroll right here. This is my watch list from yesterday and part of today, right? So I only added like 3 or 4 stocks, but man, my watch list was green, right? I only had, right, out of all my stocks, right, only 3 of them that were on my list. 2 of them are things that I keep on there just to play the inverse of the bull ETFs, right? So the only one really on my list that was kind of shit was still ACB, and I just, that's more of a pull and pray kind of thing. But that's hot, man. I don't really see anything. Yeah, I told you this huge, man. I told you it did great in the free market yesterday, and then it took a shit, right? And then sure enough, it did it today. But again, I don't really see anything that I. Mm, excuse me. If it breaks this 200 the 200 SMA here for support, you do have room down to 38 and then potentially 32. It could be possible, right? But again, I don't really see anything that. And this is a good way to find stocks that pull back to their 20, and then I put them on my list for a pull back to 20 and a remount a 9 EMA for a swing. However, you've got to be careful. You've got to watch and see what the volume is for some of these things. Like this one here would be great. I mean, it's not bad for swing trades. I only take swing trades that are able to do on average 500,000 shares a day. Um, for day trades, I don't day trade anything. It doesn't trade at least 1 million. I prefer 1,500,000 just for the liquidity. I love being able to get into a trade. I love even better being able to get out of a trade. But again, I also have a pullback scan that I use too. That I'll go down. Typically, I'll do it on the weekend. I'll go through and I'll see what stocks are pulling back, and I start kind of using the imagination and seeing how things like this one here, this Dynatrace, that I wanted to hold this 20 so bad and then remount that 9 because I really do think at least I know I have a well-defined range here where I can go from roughly what is this level here? What, 3360? or wait, 30, 36. Go from 36 at least to up here to around 39, right? Maybe 30, yeah, 38, 39. So, um, again, that's my list, guys. Again, in the morning I will go through the gappers, and I will call the list and I will share with you. All right. So thanks for tuning in. Have a great day, guys.